I'll put a hat on the book. Here's a mess. Perfect. May as well crack on. How's everybody doing? If anybody's on this bloody thing, I doubt it. So predictions are doing okay, I hope. Got 13 followers in this thing now, surprisingly. Anyway, may as well crack on. If you're new to this, hit that subscribe button. If you're on this is Twitch or YouTube or whatever, all that kind of stuff. If you're watching this on Twitch, hit that follow button. There is no subscribe button until I get about 50 followers, which it could be till by next year at the rate of this stuff. But anyway, I digress. Anybody? So obviously this shit will be up on Facebook. I mean on Facebook and YouTube later on too. So all good, great crack. So may as well crack on with the first games, which is Atlanta against New York City FC. It's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. Atlanta now basically won in their last 4 home games, which is pretty impressive, all things considered, compared to the start of the season. They're coming up against the New York City team who got beat by New York Red Bulls, basically, in Arena. It was an interesting game. I watched a bit of it. Two teams, New York City couldn't really get out of the funk of basically getting pressed constantly by Red Bull, basically. So they couldn't really even do much, really, all the things considered. Atlanta basically coming into this one should be a bit better. I know they didn't do too bad there during the week. Who was that against? That was against Toronto. They beat Toronto 2-0. And their last home game was Inter, which was like 1-0, which was pretty impressive. So coming on to this one, I'll stick with Atlanta. I'll stick with another one, 1-0 win. Atlanta probably at home, New York City probably after a defeat in the Hudson River Derby kind of stuff. I don't think they'll be all up for it basically in this one. So yeah, I'll go for like a 1-0 draw, 1-0 draw, 1-0 win for that one. The next one is DC United against New England, Revolution. I'm all over the place today. DC United against New England. DC United, not they drew their last game, but in the last 4 they've actually won 3 and drew the one, and they drew their last one. New England away from home are actually pretty impressive. They only lost the one away from home in the last 4, and then they won their 3 on the trot. Now they're coming against the DC United team. These two teams are actually playing very well, rather DC United at home and New England at away. So I'll go for like a 2-1 win. I think New England are basically the favourites now, basically to even probably win the MLS Cup. They're definitely winning the Supporters Shield, which is pretty impressive compared to but 2 seasons ago when you didn't even think they could be even challenging it again for quite a while. But they got an experienced manager. They've got a couple of players now playing basically in form and confidence and all kind of stuff, and they're doing things right. So I'll go for like a 2-1 win in that one. The next one is FC Cincinnati against Chicago Fire. Now these two teams, in contrasting against DC United and New England, these two teams have possibly Cincinnati have won the 1 game at home, and Chicago Fire have won the 1 game away from home. In the last 4, Cincinnati they haven't won anything in the last 4. They all lost them, and Chicago Fire drew their last away game, which was against New England. So that was a pretty good result. Coming into this one, I'll actually go for like a 1-1 draw. I think Cincinnati would probably get a wee good result out of this one. They're probably playing a team who played out of their skin, possibly, and this is going to be another game on the road for them where this is probably a good game for Cincinnati to get a couple of points. But I think they're only probably going to get the 1. It could go down either way, so it is going to be a trickier one. All these games are going to be on like 12:30, so there's going to be like a lot of games on, which is going to be nice. I may get to watch a couple of highlights in the morning, but the next one is Inter, obviously, now against Toronto. An interesting one. These two teams kind of started off. Well, they started off equally badly, and then they're kind of coming into their own at the moment. all things considered, Inter Miami now in the last eight haven't won a game, which is not great. And they're coming up against a Toronto team who are probably in a bit of good run of form. They got beat by Atlanta, but then beat Chicago and beat Cincinnati. Two teams. I'm not going to say one's below them, but they're down in that area. So down in that area, the bottom area. Anyway, they're coming up against. Let's see. I think Inter coming into this is probably a better run of form. I'll go for like an Inter 2-1 win. Inter probably the better team. I know they haven't really won a game in the last eight, but this is probably one of those games where they could probably do a bit of good play, and I think Toronto probably may struggle with all things considered the heat down in Miami. So I wouldn't I wouldn't like that at all. The next one is let's see who it is. It is Orlando against Montreal. Hmm. I do like Montreal. They're actually playing doing very well this moment in time. Montreal. Let's see. Montreal. In their last eight, they won three, which they beat Atlanta and they beat Chicago Fire. Now their last away game was against Columbus and they got beat 2-1. Orlando now, and they won their last two games. That was against DC United and Cincinnati, which is not too bad. Let's see. I'll go for like a 1-1 draw on that one. I think these two teams are probably well matched for each other. They're kind of coming into form and they're kind of playing well, but probably not getting the results that they deserve home or away. So I'll go for like a 1-1 on that one. The next one is FC Dallas against let's see, who was it? LAFC. Now, DC United now have probably one of the most exciting players now in the league, who basically everybody in Europe apparently is after. They're coming up now against the LA Galaxy team, who basically wanted everybody. Well, everybody wanted Rossi. Now Ross is gone. Um, I think FC Dallas could probably get a good result in this one. Actually, like I went for like a 2-1 win to FC Dallas, just for the fact that LAFC are probably not playing all that great at the moment. I think they won their last game. Where are they now? Yeah, they won their last game against San Jose Earthquakes, and that was like a 3-1 win. But their last away game was against LA Galaxy, and that was a draw. And then they lost their last two before that. So not great. I think FC Dallas could probably get a good result in this one. So I'll go for like a 2-1 win. The next one is Minnesota against Minnesota FC against Philadelphia Union. Um, hmm. I'll go for like a Minnesota 1-0. I think Minnesota could probably get a good result in this one. It possibly could go down to like a 1-1 draw. I think Philadelphia away from home, I've only won the three, which is not great. So Minnesota probably have a better record at home compared to Philadelphia away. So I'll go for like a 1-0 win in that one. Just Minnesota are probably at home. They're a good wee team. The next one is Houston Dynamo against LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy lost their last three away from home. They're probably not in the great form that you would have hoped they were. They were doing very well at the start of the season. I know they beat Portland 2-1, which is a pretty impressive result. All things considered, even though I predicted Portland to win that one, but never mind. They're coming up against Houston Dynamo. Actually, you know what? I'll go for like a 1-1 draw on that one. I think Houston beaten. Who did they beat again? Bloody hell, I can't remember. Houston beat Seattle 2-1, which is a pretty good result. Now this is their second home game on the trot, so I'll go for like a 1-1. They possibly can get a good result out of this one, so I'll stick with a 1-1 on that one. The next one is Nashville against Columbus Crew. Nashville, basically the drawers in the league. Basically, they're coming up against a Columbus Crew team who won, I think, their last game there, or won their couple of last games there. Columbus Crew. They won their they got beaten their last away game 3-0, but they beat Inter 4-0 during the week there, which was pretty good. I'll go for like a 2-2 draw. I think these two teams can score, but these two teams can concede all things. So I'll go for like a 2-0, 2-2, sorry. Nashville are probably the better team coming into this one. They are fifth in the league. I know they're at home, but I think the way that Columbus Crew now are scoring quite a few goals, I think they do have what it takes to get a good result in this one, but Nashville do draws, so I'll go for that one. The next one is Colorado Rapids against Seattle Sounders. Now Seattle are like second in the league. They lost their last game. That was a bit of a shocker one against Houston. Now they're coming up against the Colorado Rapids team at in Colorado, who lost their last game. Let's see, they won their last game at home. That was a 3-0 against Austin, but in the last three away from home, they've only had the one win. That was against Minnesota. They got beat by Real Salt Lake in Seattle already 3-0. But this one's now going to be in Columbus Crew in Columbus in Seattle. Or sorry, Colorado, Deshaun. So I'll go for I'll go for a Seattle 2-1 win. Colorado probably could win this one. I'm just going by. I think Seattle will probably go into this game a bit more um, to prove a point, whereas Colorado, I think, are probably now in a good wee content spot to get into the playoffs. They probably will be playing for playoff spots, but I think Seattle Sounders will probably have pride to win in this one. So I'll go for like a 2-1 win in that one. The next one is Portland against Vancouver. Now, as I said, Portland got beat by bloody was it LA Galaxy 2-1. This one's gonna be like it's gonna be in Portland against the kind of Vancouver kind of Cascadia kind of cup thing. So Portland, I think, won the last game against Vancouver, and I think they won quite comfortably. Let me just check. Vancouver. Yep, 1-0. That was in Vancouver, and this one now is going to be in Portland, obviously. So I'll go for like a 2-0 win. These two teams, I think Vancouver were actually doing quite well up to recently. I think they won their last game. Yep, they won their last game, and that was against Sporting Kansas City 2-1. They got beaten by beat by Seattle away from home 4-1. So their away record isn't great, but this is a Cascadia kind of cup thing. But Portland at home should probably win this one, so I'll go for like a 2-0 win in that one. And now the last one which is San Jose Earthquakes against Austin FC. Where are they? I went for like a 2-1 win. San Jose probably the better team. I like the way Austin are playing at the moment, but I think this is one of these seasons they're probably not. They haven't won a game in the last four, whereas probably San Jose Earthquakes have probably won the one in the last four. But they are playing a lot better. I think they won their last game. Sorry, they haven't won their last game. They won their last. No, they beat LAFC 2-0, and then they got beaten by Seattle at home. Now they're coming up against an Austin team they should probably get a good result against. So yeah, I'll go for a 2-1 win to San Jose. So that is my predictions. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you for the 3 or 4 people who actually watched this. If there's any more there, so thank you for making it this far. If you're new to this, as I said, hit that wee follow button. I'm trying to get in to see if I can. Yeah, anyway, trying to get followers, see what the crack is with this, and see if I need a good computer, basically. So, all things considered, I need a new computer. So hit that follow button so I can start get people to subscribe and all that jazz. So, thank you very much. So, I hope to see you in the next one. And James, fuck off. Bye now.